Let's jump into the NFL draft. So I'm gonna start with the Lions. Shut up, video. I'm gonna start with the Lions, just because obviously my team. That's what I want to talk about. It's my show. It is my turn. Okay. So the Lions, in case you missed it, they decided their draft strategy was going to be drafting big human beings. That was their draft strategy, primarily. You draft Tyleik Williams in the first round, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. Tate Ratledge, guard out of Georgia. Detroit, by the way, acquired that pick in. It's like a weird, So it was LA's pick, then it was Carolina's pick, then it got to us somehow. Whatever. In the third round, we take wide receiver Isaac Tesla. I don't know how to pronounce that. Then, in the fifth round, they take guard Miles Frazier. In the sixth round, they take edge Ahmed Hassanin. In the seventh round, they take safety Dan Jackson out of Georgia. Oh, and Ahmed was out of Boise State. And then finally, in round 7, they take wide receiver Dominic Lovett out of Georgia. So, what am I to say about this draft? Well, I am going to say this. I will never, and I hope people hold me to this. I will never get critical or yell or scream or angry at a team who takes trenches in the first or second round. Just not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. Like in principle. Why? Because that is where you win and lose football games. And in terms of value, you taking a defensive tackle in the first round, that is safe. You don't have to worry about stupid nonsense because you took a receiver and it didn't work out. You don't have to worry about, obviously we're not in the position to be drafting a quarterback. You don't have to worry about, some other skill position player not working out. When you take trenches, it tells me this. Either you're going to get a certified stud who just works his way into the starting lineup and is just there all for you, or alternatively, you got depth pieces. Because you know who is always, well, maybe not always, but almost always going to end up, beat up after a game or, dealing with injury during a game is your defensive line and your offensive line. So you bring in a Tyleik Williams. Do I know how good Tyleik Williams is? No. You want to know why? I didn't watch any Ohio State. All right. I don't watch Ohio State football. All right. The only time I watched Ohio State football was when they played Michigan State. And that was not fun. I don't want to go through that again. All right. And this is the other thing. For all the people who are so crazy, oh my gosh, how could they take a wide receiver? How could they take this T-Slaw guy? I can't believe. Here's my rule. You don't get to complain about a draft pick in the third round and beyond, assuming you have never watched the player. If you watch the player and you said, you know what, to be perfectly frank, I don't think he's really that good. Like if you're a hardcore Arkansas fan, you say, you know what, I just don't think T-Slaw's that good. Okay, fine. I can't argue with that because I never watched it. But if you're going to sit here and be like, why do we take a wide receiver? We already have J-Mo. We already have Amon-Ra. Like, as if we didn't learn anything from last year. This would be like if people got mad last year if we took an edge or a defense, a nose tackle even. And they were like, what are we doing taking a defensive line or an edge? We already have Hutchinson. We already have McNeil. Guys get hurt. This is a surprise to many people. Guys get hurt. They got to miss snaps. What if those snaps are third down and 8 and you need a big play? What if those snaps are, game on the line? You got to drive down the field, get into field goal range. So you need a guy from your depth because Jamison Williams is out. Or Khalif Raymond goes down with an injury because he's not getting any younger. Tim Patrick's not getting any younger. You want to say, okay, it's not an immediate need. Sure. But you don't draft for immediate need. This is the thing that blows the mind, I think, of some of these people, especially online, especially in sports talk, where they'll talk about, well, why are they not drafted for need? Because that's not what the draft is for. You're not, first of all, if you think that a 24-year-old is going to fill your quote-unquote need for a particular position, you're already in a bad spot. All right, like when the Lions took Aiden Hutchinson, right? The team was not very good. So it wasn't like the team. The difference between the team being good and the team not being good was us taking Aiden Hutchinson. All right, like we needed more than just Aiden Hutchinson. He's now entering his prime, entering his late 20s, and now he's got a corral of guys on both the secondary end with guys like Terry and Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw and now DJ Reed. And then on the other end with the defensive line, he's got DJ Reader, he's got McNeil, he's now got Tyleek Williams, he's got Pascal, Anzarike, potentially even Zadarius Smith, depending on where he ends up. The point is, you're not taking guys for immediate need. And don't give me this, oh, well, the Eagles have 1 million edge rushers. Really? Do they? They have a lot of guys on the defensive line. But you know what they do? They draft those guys, just like we have drafted those guys. Like, you can't just sit here and say, well, the guys that we have now are good enough. You don't know what that's going to be. What if, and God willing, this doesn't happen. What if next year Amon-Ra St. Brown tears his ACL week 1, and now you're down your wide receiver 1? Are we going to be saying, well, we shouldn't have taken Isaac T-Slaw because Amon-Ra is going to get all of his catches? I don't know if Amon-Ra is going to play every single minute of every single game. I hope he will. I'm not planning that he won't. But you don't, again, it's not like we went out and traded for DK Metcalf, all right? We're not using, player assets or draft picks to go out and get a aging star like DK Metcalf. We're drafting for value. Isaac T-Slaw costs about $1.50 for this team. So why people are getting so upset? Again, if you wanted edge, fine. We did draft an edge rusher out of Boise State. He's a 6th-round pick. I know those aren't high hit rates, but if you wanted edge, that was the edge they liked. What do you want me to say? Like, what edge would you want? What is the edge that you're like, yeah, that was the one. That was the edge we should have gotten. Like, and you know what? You brought this up because I did want to point this out because there were some of these people, especially on 97.1. I don't want to disrespect. I think it's one of the great sports talk radio stations in the area. As someone who doesn't live in Detroit anymore, it's one of the great. But Brad Holmes on this interview talked about, he's confused as to why people are asking about edge. And frankly, I'm confused too. Because whom are you asking about? Don't just say, well, we need that position. Okay, we have that position. We have Josh Pascal. We have Levi Onwuzurike. We had Zadarius Smith. We have Marcus Davenport. Now he goes, oh, I don't want those guys. Okay, who do you want? Do you want Myles Garrett? He's not available. Do you want Max Crosby? He's not available. Do you want Trey Hendrickson? Newsflash, he will not be available. All of the guys that you want are not actually there. Now you want to say, well, why didn't he draft this guy? I don't know. He didn't like him. Because maybe he just doesn't want him. He did draft an edge rusher that he does want. It's like, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. If he drafts an edge rusher like he did in the 6th round, it doesn't count. But if he drafts one that happened to be in the 1st round, who may or may not end up being good anyway, to me, it's like you can't just sit here and say, well, in principle, we need to draft an edge rusher. Why? Why do we, in principle, have to draft an edge rusher any more than we have to draft interior D-line? Or any more than we have to draft offensive line? It's one of those things where fans will get just glued to, especially mock drafts or positions that it becomes their little horse that they want to, like their little hobby horse, where you need to get the edge rusher or else it's a failure. The team went 15-2 last year. And I am not going to sit here and say that last year was a success. It wasn't. You lost in the 1st round of the playoffs. I don't call that a success. You did win the division title, but you didn't do anything in the playoffs. Again, it's similar to the Pistons. Maybe the secret sauce to this defense, to that edge rushing problem, was already on the team. And his name is Aiden Hutchinson. Maybe that's the case. But all we're going to have to do is have the games play out. And if a team that just went 15-2 with massive injuries to the defense is going to be coming back healthier and potentially younger on the defensive line, that sounds pretty good to me. that sounds like a pretty decent recipe for success. Obviously, you got new coordinators, so who knows what's going to happen there. But this edge rusher obsession thing to me, I'm with Brad Holmes. I don't understand it. Like, it's one position in a field of positions that you already have an elite one, and the ones that you want in the pro level are not there. So now we're dealing with lottery tickets and drafting players. And if the guy who has successfully drafted pretty much since he's gotten here, not pretty much, since he's gotten here, doesn't see one that he likes, what do you want me to say? Want me to say that I know better? Because I probably don't. Do you want me to say that I wanted this guy over this guy? I have no idea. I don't watch these guys. I don't interview with these guys. I don't know. Other teams are going to draft well too. So you're just going to have to accept that there's going to be guys that are drafted before or after that you wish the Lions would have been able to get. They probably feel the same way. That's life. That's the NFL. Okay? If it were up to me, and I know it's not up to me, then the Lions would have gotten Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchinson, and Kayvon Thibodeau back then. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. That's not real life. If it were up to me, Myles Garrett and Max Crosby and Trey Hendrickson would be our entire defensive line. But again, that's not real life. Real life is you pretty much only get one super duper elite edge rusher, and then you fill the void with what you got, with development, with picking up a guy like Zadarius Smith, who again is still out there. But either way, all of this is to say, I like the draft. I'm not jumping up and down because, again, I don't know these guys. We'll see. We'll see if they end up being good. I like the mindset behind the draft. I like the philosophy. So I'm gonna just let the season come when it does. But yeah, the edge rushing thing, people need to just find something else, I guess. Hi, it's me again. If you enjoyed what you just saw, hit the like and subscribe button. We do live shows every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there.